views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCN TV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCN TV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCN TV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCN TV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
And then we expand on them with very I'll finish off the change by buying them. Pardon? What? And it took me a while to decipher what he was saying. I came up with we can get better at what we're weak at, and we can even get better at what we're strong at. What makes communication healthy or effective? And
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of What Matters. I am your co-host, Dr. Andrew Blackwood, also known as Coach Drew, and the beautiful, illustrious, wonderful, intelligent, articulate, loving, caring, giving Erica is not here at the moment. We both had a little bit of car issues and troubles today, so she is going to be joining us a little bit later by phone. So until then, we will just send our prayers, positive vibes to her to help her along her way. But our topic today is dreams, the power of dreams. And I think it's good for us to start by talking about what is a dream. And I'm so used to talking to people. So, Salima, I'm going to ask you to chime in and help me out. But when you think of a dream, what comes to mind for you? Okay. Oh, you okay? Well, okay. Well, I'll tell you what comes to mind for me initially. It's something that's intangible, something that's an idea, something that. And I'm working on this definition because it's part of this next book that I'm working on. For those of you who have seen any of my posts, it's called 30 Days to Portugal. I'm still working on it. I'm writing it like live while people are watching this program and this experience of 30 days. But here are just some of my thoughts. A dream is not just an idea. It's an idea attached to or steeped in desire, something that is connected to you. It's woven into your very soul. It's something that moves you. It's a mission that drives you, wakes you up at night, captures your attention in the middle of the day. A dream is something that moves you and calls the best out of you. It requires you to believe in you. Now, I believe we all have them, but often we don't answer the call, We don't allow ourselves to believe in them, to cultivate them, to pursue them. It takes energy, courage, investment, and support to pursue them. So here's another part. I think dreams are actually linked to our esteem. In order for you to believe in your dream, you've got to believe in you. And that's a challenge for most people. I really believe that. So as I helped people walk through and deal with anxiety and depression, there's often a lack of belief in oneself. And I'll speak to my own experience because I've been thinking about this for some time. Dreams, I believe, are encompassed in our life purpose, in our life mission. And if you follow your life back, if you go back, there's some things that came natural to you. Um, I call them core values. Some of my core values include compassion, learning, growth, integrity, authenticity. Now, if I'm in an environment where I am not free to exercise that and experience that, it's like the life gets sucked out of me, right? I don't feel like myself. I don't feel comfortable. I'll be in conflict, and that's just an indication of some of the things that are required when you start to think about your dreams. And I'm not talking about like goals, like I want this kind of car, or I want, this thing that just gratifies me. When I think about a dream, I think about things that benefit the world, things that make the world a better place. So when I started to sculpt my own life mission and purpose, that in and of itself housed some dreams for me. So my purpose is to help people live their best lives. My dream and my purpose is to use all my skills and talents to help people learn how to be in relationships better. I think the world will be a better place when people are equipped to deal with relational and emotional challenges with care and competence. That's part of my mission. That's part of my mission. So, out of that mission then flows different visions and different dreams about how that mission will be carried out. Now, I love when people talk back to me. So, if you can message Salima, typed into her. Salima, did you grab a mic? Okay, perfect. All right, Erica's on the line. All right, let's bring her in. Oh, look at you, looking all beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Your frazzled co-host. Hello, hello.
You made it safely.
I did, exactly. I made it safely, one way or the other. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. And thank you to technology. So I'm actually able to join you. I'm really excited and happy about that. So today we are talking about dreams, right, Andrew?
That is right. I don't know if you missed the whole first section when I was going through my current definition of a dream, what it does for you, what it does to you, what it calls out of you. It calls you to your higher self, your best version of yourself. It requires that in order to be manifested. It requires you to believe in you in order for it to live.
Absolutely. So have you already started talking about the current dream that is in action right now for you? Have we touched on that yet?
I didn't get into specifics. I mentioned the book that I'm working on, 30 Days to Portugal. The subtitle isn't decided yet. But in this phase, I guess there's 17 days left. I am really pushing some visions and some dreams forward. And one of them that we're right in the middle of is helping to raise $10,000 for an organization called Rising Angels. And for those of you who
Wow.
don't know, Rising Angels, yes, it's the 10K giveaway for Rising Angels. Rising Angels is a survivor led organization to help women escape prostitution and recover from sex trafficking. Now, when I think about how traumatic those experiences are for girls and women all around the world, but how uniquely powerful it is for Katarina McLeod, the lady who is running the organization, to have left 15 years of survived, left 15 years of prostitution, but is using her survival, her pain, her history, her understanding, her experience to support other women to find a way back to life, a life that conveys worth to them, a life that gives them the opportunity to experience the respect and love that they have always been worthy of, that just fires me up. I got to do something.
Absolutely. Well, Andrew, I had the pleasure of catching your interview with Katerina, and I was blown away. Um, Her story was absolutely gripping. Like, once you started listening, you could not, like, I was doing things that involved noise and I had to put them aside until she finished speaking. It was completely engrossing and, not unbelievable from this point of view. Somebody who's been very protected, very sheltered. And from what I'm finding out more and more about this sex trafficking industry, very lucky, because we often think it's only the girls who their families are at home, that are from at-risk
Right,
neighborhoods,
right.
that are poor, that are fatherless. We think those are the girls it happens to. But to hear her story and other women like her on, having the home and having the family, but being sucked into this world, and once you're in this world, how hard it is to get
To
out,
get
and
out.
all of the
Right.
abuse and everything that happens um, following that. So I can absolutely see why you were driven to do this. So when you set this goal of 10K, Andrew, what was that like? Like, what was that feeling that you had when you said, "Okay, it's $10,000 that I'm going for"?
You know what? We're gonna come back and I'll answer that question right after the break, and I'll tell you it's a really simple story, but I'll fill you in right after the break.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Yes, we are back. At least I'm back. Erica's going to be joining us again in a second. We were talking about dreams, what they are, where they come from, and some of my current dreams. And we were talking about the organization called Rising Angels. And I'm going to wait to answer Erica's question. There we go. Here you can hear me, Erica?
Yeah, I can hear you
Okay,
perfectly. I can
perfect.
even hear you saying that I wasn't there yet. So my last question was, we're talking about dreams, and I remember when I saw your first post for the 10K giveaway, and I know that we've been discussing how we're stretching our boundaries, and we realize that there's things that we really want to do, and I know for me personally, numbers are really big.
Mm.
Numbers are definitive. You can't fudge them. It's not like, an English essay where it's subjective. A number is a number. So when you set out for 10K in a month, what was that like? What, first of all, made you think of that number? And how did you feel about that when you started?
Honestly, it was maybe about 2:30 or 3 o'clock, because that seems to be the time of morning when my daughter or daughters want to waltz into the room and wake me up. And I just couldn't go back to sleep. And I was just thinking about what I want to do, how I can help, and the idea just popped into my head. It just popped in my head. 10K. Give 10K. I was just like, okay. I heard somebody use the term inspired action. It's one of my coaches. She said, when inspired action comes to you, an idea, just run with it. So I said, you know what? Why not? Let's just do it. What have I got to lose? And I'm going to be talking about this in the book, because then the voices the other ideas, the objections, they start to creep in,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, how are you going to do this? What if it doesn't work? You know, all those doubts, those insidious things that kind of seep into the dream and sap it of its life. And I realized that I have a choice, right? I can attend to those things, I can try to answer those things, or I can dig back into the dream and hold on to it and breathe life into that, put it out there. And one of my beliefs, because the dreams that we have, they're often they're often killed by ourselves, believe it or not.
Absolutely.
We
I agree
often
a
think
hundred.
that other people are responsible for killing our dreams, but when we become aware of our own thought processes, our patterns of thought, our patterns in behavior, they give us insight into how we self sabotage. So I'm starting to realize that I used to tell myself pretty much most of the time that the things that I want to do and want to accomplish in this life are hard. They're hard. They're next to impossible. I don't like to do hard things. Like, I really don't. I don't enjoy doing hard things. I enjoy doing valuable things that require energy and effort. But telling myself this is going to be hard is only going to distract me and discourage me. But when I started to say, this is easy. We could do $10,000. If I contact 100 people and ask them to give $1, and they contact 100 people, ask them to, we have $10,000.
We have
We have
$10,000.
$10,000.
Um, I agree with you so much on that, Andrew. We people often talk about the dream killers and the people out there that will dampen your dreams, but I find that often we are our own worst enemies. Like you said, the voices start in your head. The negative committee, I call them. They assemble and they convene, right? So you got negative Nelly and doubtful Debbie and naysaying Nate, and they all get together and they tell you all the reasons why this idea, this dream, this plan, this vision is stupid or silly or far fetched. And what I find as I really pay attention to my thoughts and I really start to listen to myself and not just react to the feelings, but figure out how I get to those feelings. And what I realize is sometimes I'll have an idea and it seems so smart. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm excited and I write it down and then I start thinking about it. And I mean, this is a part of planning, making a business plan is you are supposed to think of all the things that could go wrong. But what I have found is that idea that I started out with that was so smart, I can talk myself into thinking it was really dumb
Mm-hmm.
within an hour.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me about an hour to totally flip that idea, and it's just so silly. And then what has been very interesting for me, especially in all these years of entrepreneurship, is watching that idea or plan or vision be executed by
Mm-hmm.
someone else.
Right. The
And
same thing.
me sitting there going, why didn't I just go forward? Why didn't I do it? So I agree with you, Andrew, that I think that oftentimes we kill our own dreams.
Yes.
We don't need assistance.
Right, right. I was at a high school today in Scarborough speaking to some teenagers. Um, and that was a big part of the talk. Your words are more powerful than anyone else's. And what's interesting is sometimes those words, those discouraging words, come from other people. But what's interesting is we repeat those words over and over and over. Each time we replay that memory, we are actually reinforcing those ideas. And those ideas, we talked about it before, those ideas move from being just ideas to being associated with us. And after long, we start to identify with them and they become a part of who we are. That's, you take that on as your identity.
Andrew, while you were talking, and that's one of the reasons, I mean, I tell you this all the time, one of the reasons that, many reasons I love to hear you speak is, one, I do love the sound of your voice, but two, I find that the way that you speak, you give me, it's very visual. I tend to visualize things when you speak. And when you were just saying that, the idea that came to me was that of the dandelion seeds. They're so small and they're so tiny and they're so light and they kind of blow over everything. But when they catch and they take root, they can completely take over something, a piece of lawn. So they're these tiny little light seeds that just lightly blow over your mindset or your idea of yourself, and they take root. And then next thing you know, these negative things you're saying to you that don't even necessarily originate from within you,
Right.
Are taken over. So, and I love hearing that you were speaking to students. So, in all the disappointment of the world and how things can go wrong, and we almost let ourselves down in dreams, that was one of the questions I really want to ask you today is, why even have them? I mean, isn't it just safer to, stick to the status quo and, as Caribbeans say, don't hang your hat too high? Isn't it safer there? Like, what is really the value of having dreams, especially, $10,000 dreams and Portugal dreams and, the Oprah of Canada dreams? What is the value in this, where oftentimes most of us fall short? Why would we do this, Andrew?
Ooh. So, what is the value in having a dream? I think you are the value in the dream. Can you be your best self without a dream? Can you be the best version of yourself without purpose? What happens to us when we don't dream? We settle.
Mm-hmm.
We're not happy. We're not, and there's a thin line between being grateful, genuine gratitude, and resignation. I'll accept where I'm at. I'll accept what's given to me. When there's more, part of there's more out there. There's more in here. So, regardless of where your dream is at, there's going to be an invitation to experience more, to express more, to have more, to do more. Because as human beings, we're designed to grow. So, what's the value of a dream? The dream it gives expression to the soul. And when the soul does not express itself, I believe it turns in on itself. So back to the whole idea about identity. As I listen to people and I listen to myself, talk myself down, talk myself back and out of achieving dreams, the identity that I take on is, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
I am not able. I am not powerful. I am incapable. I am weak. I am scared. I am all these identity things that I don't realize that I'm taking on. When we pursue a dream and we exercise the courage to express our truest selves, we then live out our best identity. I am capable. I am courageous. I am worthwhile. I've got something to say. I've got something to give. And I think that's what will make our world a better place. When everyone realizes they are people of value who've got something worth giving, something worth sharing, something to be happy about and proud of, you know. And I know we got to kind of transition and come back after the next break. So we'll put a pin in it and come right back. Hey everybody, welcome back. We are here, the beautiful, wonderful, intelligent, gracious, giving, kind Erica Elita. This
Oh
is
my
her
goodness.
show, and she allows me to come on every now and then. We are here on What Matters, and we are talking about what matters. And we're talking about dreams specifically today, what they are, what's the value of them, and what it takes to pursue them, and what happens if we don't.
And what happens if we don't? Well, from the last segment, something you said really resonated, as many things do. And Andrew, thank you for that. We all need some authentic, real affirmation, and I really appreciate that from you, especially from someone I admire so much. Thank you for coming on the show and gracing us with your knowledge and your experiences. Once a month, you're here with us, and I appreciate that so much. One of the things you said in the last segment was the value of our dreams is us. And I really loved that. What is the point? Why is it a value? And you're the reason that you should continue to dream. And all of the things that you said it does, those things that you start to identify with. I am capable, I am worthy, I am able, I am courageous, I'm brave. Even sometimes thinking, I think I'm a bit crazy. It's a good feeling because you're not just following the status quo. And I think that in dreaming and having these dreams and reaching towards them, that energy trickles down to all the other areas of our lives,
Yeah.
that aren't so dreamlike. So if, like most people who have maybe businesses on the side that they pursue in their off time, it makes you a more passionate person at your 9 to 5. It makes you more passionate about your parenting or your involvement in your community or your church. That feeling of empowerment, and I think that's what pursuing your dreams does for you, is it empowers you.
That's right.
I think that trickles down to all the other areas of your life, and it makes you feel that you can do more, even in average things, that you can do better. So to me, that is the value of, you know, keeping up your dreams. And one of the questions that we asked is, what happens when you let them go? And what do you think is, have you met anyone like that, Andrew, in your life, that you can kind of tell that they've given up on their dreams?
Well, I've given up on some of my dreams. I mean, I don't have
Oh,
to
you
go
have.
further than looking in the mirror to know what that's like. You know, you have something that's an idea that you think is wonderful, and then for one reason or another, you stop. What does it say? What has it said to me? This is what I internalized, that I can't do it. Like I said, I'm not capable. And that becomes an esteem thing. The same way you're saying when you believe in your dream and you tell yourself that you are powerful, you are courageous, you move on and you carry that with you. The opposite is true. I used to wait for permission for people to give me advice, to tell me, you know, Andrew, you could do this. Andrew, you could do that. Well, you know, and don't get me wrong, like I said at the beginning of the show, I do believe it's important to have support, to get wise counsel. But for me, I looked for permission. I looked for some validation. And that, if I didn't get it, then I didn't believe enough in this thing to pursue it. And then that lack of moving forward followed me into the next initiative and the next initiative and the next initiative. And the difference between quitting and failing is there's nothing to be learned of any value from quitting. When you fail,
Well,
you can learn from your mistakes and you can say, okay, this is what didn't work well, this is what didn't work well. Next time I try it, I'm going to do this differently. Whereas when you just quit, it says something to you about your own agency.
I think that I've experienced this with my teenage son, in that I feel that a lot of times the reason he doesn't try is so that he won't fail, and that kind of to him is a safe place because the effort wasn't put out, and so I can't say I failed. I just never did it. But I think the end result is the same. And there becomes this defensiveness in not attempting and not trying, or you kind of immediately kill your own dreams, thoughts, ideas, so that you aren't put in a place where you can possibly fail.
Right.
But as you just said, there is so much value in quote unquote failure. And I had actually today posted a quote on Instagram about, there are no mistakes, just lessons. And I said, I don't really believe that. I think that there are mistakes, but you can learn from your mistakes. So the value in going wrong is the lesson that's in it. And when we take a lesson from it and we apply it to our life going forward, that's where we get the value. Sometimes we do have happy mistakes where things didn't turn out as we should, or we made the wrong decision, but it worked itself out. But there is so much reinforcement, I find, self-reinforcement in trying things. And even when they don't work out, surviving them. I know for myself, some of the times I look back at in my life that served me the best were at the time I was in them, horrible times. If you had asked me in the moment, how's that? This is terrible. But in hindsight, looking back at them, I learned so much. I took so much from the experience. And then when I'm no longer in it, I can see what was funny about it, or I could see, the irony in certain situations and how maybe, I contributed to them. But that fear and holding yourself back from trying new things or exploring your dreams, I think it really does start to shrink your soul.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
After a while, you start to be afraid of your own ideas. And even more frighteningly, and that's what I find with people who are very restrictive and very much naysayers, I feel that there are often people who've given up on their dreams, and then they kind of spread that attitude, oh, you shouldn't do that, that's not safe, or that may not work.
Exactly.
So oftentimes the people that I meet that are the most negative and the biggest, the people who will shut down ideas immediately are often people who are really working from that very safe place of not trying anything new, because then you can't fail. And there really is no glory in extreme safety, I feel.
Right. Yeah, 100%. We buy into this idea that it's safer and it's better to play it small, right? You got to protect what you have because if you try this, you're going to lose everything. And it's a mindset that
Scarcity
I'm
mentality.
outgrowing, a mindset of scarcity and lack. If you think about anything that exists
Mhm.
in this world, it started with an idea and it was carried out by human agency, right? I'm talking about
Mhm.
like the tech that we now use on a regular basis. My first daughter was born 3 months premature and weighing 1 pound, 11 ounces. And the human care was incomparable, but the technology that helped keep her warm, that helped feed her, that helped keep her alive, that
Sustain her,
started in
right?
somebody's mind. That was a dream for
Hmm.
somebody. They didn't make it for themselves, right? They made it to help other people. If they stopped dreaming, would we have had that, right? I,
Selena, can you pull up Andrew's quote on that, on helping others? How that is what makes dreams. I know I had sent that in, and you're
yeah, that's the Les Brown quote. Help others achieve their dreams, and you will achieve yours. And I really believe that. I think we are created as relational beings. So what I do impacts you and vice versa. So this campaign to raise $10,000 isn't for me. It's to help Katerina and to help all those women. And I get to get out of the way. Sure, those thoughts, Andrew, so what if it doesn't work? What if you don't get to the $10,000? And I help people deal with what ifs, right? The negative what
hmm
ifs. You counter them with the positive what ifs. Well, what if it does work, right? What if it does work? What if people
then
take
what?
up the idea and choose to inform other people about the reality of sex trafficking in our world, in our city? What if people go home and talk to their daughters and say, you know what? I'm sorry for the way that I treated you, and I know that I might have conveyed that you are not worthy of love and care and respect. That's not true, right? That's worth it. That's worth it. That's worth putting myself out there. That's worth, getting egg on my face or whatever it is. It's worth it.
With this, whether it be $1,000 or $10,000 that you raise, it is a benefit to others and, quite honestly, to yourself, because I think that it builds up your resilience, and asking for $10,000 in February will make asking for $20,000 in July that much easier because you've been here and you've done it. So, Andrew, can you tell us where it is we can donate to this cause, and when are you leaving for Portugal? Um, and what will happen? Tell us a little bit more about the Raising Angels Fund and how this money will work to help these women.
Certainly. Well, you can go to my site, www.coachdrew.ca, and you'll see a link
Hmm.
to donate $5 or more to Rising Angels. And I'll give you a little bit more details and insight about how this money is helping and will help and where we're at currently after just a few days of the campaign, right after the break.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Yes, everybody, you can see it there on my website, Coach Drew's 10K giveaway for Rising Angels. And when you give, you'll be giving through canadahelps.org, and they will transfer that money directly to Rising Angels. And again, if you look at my Facebook feed, you'll see the timeline where I had an interview with Katarina, and so you can see there we're already at $2,275, which is wonderful. I don't know how many times the link has been shared, but people are sharing it, and that is so great. Um, One of the things that Katarina talked to me about, because there are a number of agencies out there that help around human trafficking, but this organization specifically is a survivor-led group, and she knows personally what it's like to leave, to be drawn back in, but also to leave and to stay out. She meets those girls and women right where they're at. A lot of the programs require women to have either been clean for a certain amount of time, or to have this, or to have that. And there are some women who don't have anything. And there are some women who will not trust anyone unless they've been there. So this money goes to support things like rent. The real instrumental daily life stuff that we assume that everybody's capable of doing, that everybody remembers how to do. When you think about the trauma that these women have undergone, it definitely impairs one's capacity to function in everyday life. So Katerina has the wonderful, awesome responsibility of walking alongside these women in ways that I can't, in ways that you can't. So we have the opportunity to support her to do what we can't do. And like I've said in other videos before, I think it's essential when it comes to topics like these that we do something, even if it's $5. It's so important to do something. Again, our action or our inaction says something to us about us. When we give ourselves permission to turn a blind eye, it disempowers our ability to impact change in the world. We get to do that. It's an opportunity to give. It's an opportunity to say, I'm aware and I'm doing something. I want to do something. So if you can, by all means, hop onto my website, go to Facebook. There are lots of links there. Donate what you can and share. Share it. Have conversations about the reality of this experience in our backyards, literally. Because the more we talk about it is the more real that it is, but it's also an opportunity to let people know that they can talk about it. Like you said before, Erica, we often think that these experiences only happen to people who are severely at risk and on the fringes, but that's not the reality.
No.
It
The
can
reality
happen
at
to
all.
anyone, right? So it's an opportunity, again, that I think is important. And I intentionally am pushing myself out there because I know that I have not been doing my best at living my best life. And sometimes it takes a little bit of public accountability to say, okay, I'm going to do it. I put it out there, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I don't mind that pressure because it's supporting my belief in myself, in my belief in those things that I've been created and called to do. And I think everyone is created with something wonderful and marvelous inside of them. And it doesn't have to look like what I'm doing. It doesn't have to look like what you're doing. Like some people, they were born with a desire to just be a parent. I was talking to this
Yes.
young man. I was at his 13th birthday party where it's like a rite of passage where we blessed him and we welcomed him into manhood. And one of his sisters was saying that ever since you were a kid, you talked about wanting to be a dad. That's a dream. That is a beautiful dream. Pursue that. Be that. You know, you don't have to be the prime minister, the president. No, be you. Pursue that dream. Pursue that passion. Be the best version of yourself. And that's what this is all about.
You said about the Rising Angels network and what they're doing. Um, Again, listening to her story was amazing. She's going to reach people in a place, as you said, most of us can't because we don't have the experiences that she has had. But in, again, watching someone rise beyond a situation they felt that they never could is so inspiring. And even listening to you, and I shared that with you, that I'm watching these posts and I'm seeing this countdown and I see your lives, and on family day you were there with your daughter, and that is inspiring to so many. So even as we tackle these dreams and we go forward, and the negative committee, they convene in our heads and we doubt, where it's not just for ourselves. I really believe in this dream chasing and catching that we do. It is communal, and as we share these visions and these goals, and as you said, becoming publicly accountable. I know there's a school of thought that says, be quiet about your movements and tell no one the negative energy, but I believe in the positive energy that comes with certain public declarations. I know that I've put myself on the spot at times, to get things done, because I told a whole bunch of people. Now I'm kind of like stuck in doing this. So there's so much more in following our dreams, than just, what it fulfills for us and what we get from it. And even when they appear to be selfish dreams, like someone wants to be, have a career for themselves, all the people that you inspire along the way is part of it. So I believe that dreams have a communal quality to them. And it's not just a solo thing. And even in doing things for ourselves and our families, we can inspire so many others to do something for themselves and their families, and that spreads out into the community. So I thank you, Andrew, for sharing this dream, the countdown to Portugal with us, because I know that it's motivated me on mornings, and I've opened up my feed to say, yeah, you got to get your butt in gear, because there's Andrew Blackwood getting it done. So I thank you for the efforts that you've put out, because they really have, in real time and in real life, inspired me to go just a little bit further today than I would have gone, because I see someone getting it done, and that is very, very inspirational. So again, Andrew, I thank you for sharing this dream that you have with us, and I know that everybody watching right now is really looking forward to the pictures and the summary, and hearing about your trip. So you leave when and return when?
I leave on the 10th, so I'll be in Portugal on the 11th. And I definitely will be posting while I'm there. Some people don't know why I'm going, but it's more investment in me and in this next leg of the journey. I want to be an amazing, well, some people have told me that I'm an amazing speaker, but I know that there's so much more inside of me. So I'm getting all the tools and the help to be even better. I spoke at a school today, and it was really moving to hear some of the students say how what I shared impacted them. And that's part of why I'm doing this out loud is, again, sometimes if you've been sedentary like me, where you played second fiddle to yourself,
Hmm. Hmm.
you're not going to have the impact on other people that you could when you step out and be the best version of yourself. That's why I'm doing this. There's part of me that I know will not be satisfied, will not be fulfilled unless I move out and do this. But I like you said, it's communal. When I'm my best, I'm helping other people to be their best. And I know we're just about out of time, but there's one thing I want to address. A young man I was talking to, he's very uncomfortable with people speaking well of themselves. The idea that in order to be confident, that means you are conceited. And I know a lot of people believe that, but the alternative, it just doesn't make sense to me anymore. It just really doesn't. So I'm finding the more that I believe in the value that has been invested, woven into me, is the more I can believe in the dream. It's the more that I can believe in my daughters. Like, if I don't believe in me and I don't speak well of me,
Oh,
how am I
yeah.
supposed to do that for them? So it's changing everything about me. It's changing the way that I parent, it's changing the way that I live, and that's why I'm doing it.
Well, it's changing. As I said, it is communal. It has a trickle down effect because for me as well, it's made me reflect on things. And everyone I see in my life reaching for those dreams and reaching for the goals, it kind of leaves you with that, why not me? And
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, I know we have to go, so I won't make Selena's head explode. But that's something that I think we could definitely touch on in the future is how some people equate confidence. They don't seem to differentiate between confidence and cockiness or being what's the word, not obscene, but um, there's another word where it's not a positive idea of confidence. And a lot of people think that you have to diminish your value and diminish your qualities and have that those accolades come from outside.
Right.
And you're right, I know a lot of people who are uncomfortable with people speaking of their own value as
Right.
if it's a bad thing. So that's definitely a topic we could touch on. But Andrew, I'm really loving witnessing the unfolding of this, and I am excited to see the pictures and hear about your experience. But in the meantime, everyone, to help us get there before we leave, Andrew leaves, go to his website, coachdrew.ca, coachdrewcan.ca.
No, you're right.
And
CoachDrew.ca. Yep,
oh, coachdrew.ca. It's Coach Drew Can on Instagram,
that's right.
correct?
And
Right.
YouTube.
And you'll also find
And
the link there.
yeah,
So get out there, and if you don't have the $5 or more to give, definitely share it. Have a conversation with the young people in your life, male and female. This affects all of us, and it is right here in our backyards. And this goes out to everyone watching in every city. It is right in your backyard. So again, Andrew, I thank you for your tremendous effort and the light that you're shining on this very, very important issue.
my privilege. Thanks again for having me, Erica, and we'll talk soon.
Yes.